Every year, Catholics give up something for Lent: chocolate, coffee, social media, as a way of offering a sacrifice to God, growing in discipline, and readying ourselves for the coming feast of Easter. And I kind of hate it. As a Catholic priest and Franciscan friar, this is probably not what you were expecting me to say. I'm literally a member of a religious order founded to do penance, but that is precisely why I hate this practice. It often does not accomplish very much, and it is way too easy. Yeah. Buckle up, folks. This is a soapbox video, and I intend to ruffle some feathers. For many, criticizing the idea of giving something up for Lent seems like an attack on Catholicism itself. Yet another modernist priest going after one of our sacred traditions, trying to remove a practice that Catholics have been faithfully doing for, checks notes, 60 years. Yeah. It's not as old as you think. You see, as common as it's become for individuals to pick a single thing to privately sacrifice for Lent, this is a modern devotional practice. St. Francis of Assisi did not give up coffee during Lent. St. Therese of Lisieux did not go 40 days without social media. St. Thomas Aquinas wasn't making some minor sacrifice that moderately inconvenienced his life. No. For much of Catholic history, from about the 4th century up until about 100 years ago, every Catholic did the same thing for Lent, and it was difficult. On Tuesday of this week, I posted a full video about the history of fasting in the Catholic Church, so check that out here if you want more details. But basically, for almost all of our history, Lent was a time for Catholics not simply to give something up, but a time of dedicated communal penance. For nearly all of our history, every Catholic abstained from meat for the entirety of Lent, not just Fridays. For many centuries, this also included abstaining from eggs, milk, desserts, and alcohol as well. For nearly all of our history, every Catholic fasted, eating only one meal per day with occasional snacks for the entirety of Lent, not just Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. We also used to fast during Advent and abstain from meat every Friday of the year, not just on Fridays during Lent. It wasn't until just a century ago that all of this changed, that the Church significantly relaxed its requirements, allowing individuals to come up with their own penance rather than fasting with the rest of the Church. The idea of giving something up would have never made sense when all of us, as a church, were already giving up meat, eggs, milk, desserts, and alcohol. And so the idea of giving something up today, a single, moderately inconvenient sacrifice like coffee, chocolate, or social media, just seems so insignificant to me. Is that really a challenge when we compare it to what we used to do? Is it really a challenge when we compare it to what non-Latin Rite Catholics and Orthodox Christians still do today? That's right. In many parts of the world, Christians still take fasting very seriously, even if we don't. Is giving up a single, moderately inconvenient sacrifice like coffee, chocolate, or social media doing much to help us grow in holiness? Is it fostering any sense of solidarity or communion with anyone else? Is it leading us closer to Jesus? I understand that doing something rigorous does not necessarily mean that it will be spiritually beneficial, and I don't want to romanticize the past, forgetting that there has always been a difference between what was the law on the books and what people actually practiced. But there has to be some rigor, right? If our practice doesn't disrupt our lives, like totally disrupt our lives, are we really trying as hard as we could? I know this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think we need a little more penance in our lives. I think we need to make sacrifices that absolutely upend our normal way of living, that give us a challenge that requires our full attention. Giving something up just isn't enough. It's a modern innovation, a relaxation of much more difficult rules, a break from tradition. Lent was never about giving something up. It was about turning our entire lives to Jesus. And so, what might that look like today? What am I doing, for instance? Well, as a community of friars that I live with, we have decided to go vegetarian, abstaining from all meat. We'll continue to eat animal products like milk and eggs, but we're abstaining from desserts, alcohol, and any unnecessary snacks or luxury foods as well. We'll also be setting aside extra time for prayer on Fridays to pray the Stations of the Cross together, and donating much of our monthly stipends to charities. In addition to that, I plan to personally fast every day but Sunday. That means one main meal that is of normal quantity, and a smaller meal that can be split into 2 snacks throughout the day, some peanut butter crackers, fruit, a shake, some hearty bread, a bowl of cereal, things like that. It's not exactly as strict as our medieval brothers and sisters, but definitely more strict than anything I've ever done. And finally, I plan to continue my own holy hour every morning, a practice I've grown accustomed to over the past few months, but still worth mentioning as an ongoing penance here, and to reinstitute my cold showers, something I used to do until the temperature routinely dropped below freezing. Taken together, it's a lot. It's a real sacrifice that will be extremely challenging, at least to me. But I want to make sure that it's more than just a show of strength or an opportunity for pride, that it's not a diet. My hope with these practices, and what I'll be focusing on throughout, is to achieve 3 things. The first is to grow in discipline. One of the main reasons that people have fasted throughout history is to get control over their bodies, to whip their flesh into shape, and that's certainly the case for me. In denying myself basic luxuries and struggling through hunger, I want to remind my body that I'm in control, not my passions. That's the passions of hunger, yes, but also sinful passions. So much of my life is about satisfying impulses and seeking after instant gratification. Being able to deny those lower desires, to resist temptation, is very important to me. Second, I want to grow in solidarity with the poor, the people who often fast and deny themselves out of necessity rather than choice. Every time I'm hungry and want to cheat by grabbing something from the fridge, I want to remind myself that people on the street don't have that option. Every time I reach for the hot water and am tempted to take a 20-minute shower just for comfort, I want to remind myself of the people who have to sleep outside in the rain, who don't have access to basic necessities. As harsh as some of these things sound at first, they're nothing worse than what so many people around the world deal with as the norm. Remembering that, I can offer up my temporary discomfort for them and hopefully feel a little bit closer to them. And finally, most importantly, what I seek above all in these practices is to remind myself of how much I need God, that I am nothing but dust without Him. This means offering these practices as a sacrifice for my sins, trying to show God and myself that there is nothing more important in my life than following Him, that I'm willing to give it all up, but also as a means of growing closer to God and understanding His will. Throughout the Bible, people fasted when they had major decisions to make. They abstained when they were looking for answers. It gave them focus, clarity, and single-minded devotion. It wasn't a punishment as much as it was a purification, a stripping of the need for worldly things so as to focus on heavenly things alone. This is what Lent is about. This is what we should all hope to achieve: discipline, solidarity with the poor, union of mind and heart with God. It's possible that this can be achieved by holier people giving up chocolate, coffee, or social media alone, but I know that I need more. I know that for much of the history of the church believed that we all needed more. But ultimately, it is up to you. In their wisdom, the leaders of the church have set the requirements as they are and have left it up to the faithful to decide for themselves how to do penance. Who am I to add an extra burden onto you that the church does not? Only you can say what your soul needs right now, and I hope that you will follow your conscience in doing so. All I'd ask is that you reach as high as you can, that you strive for the best that you can do, that you make Lent a truly transformative experience rather than just a minor inconvenience. Maybe add something a little harder this year. Maybe dedicate yourself a little more intentionally this year. Maybe look to the inspiration of the past and recover a sense of urgency that I believe we all need a bit more right now.